Okay guys, here we go. Video number 1, and I have absolutely no clue what I'm doing, so everyone please bear with me. Topic of the day. Oh yeah, somebody told me you got to make sure that you're looking at the lens, right? Because if I'm not looking at the lens, then to you guys I'm looking over here, right? Okay, so now I got to talk to the lens, right? Okay. So today's topic is about what I did for a living before all of this happened. So I have my roll of toilet paper because I know I'm going to cry. Who the hell buys Kleenex? I don't buy Kleenex. Who buys Kleenex? It's like an extra cost you don't need. I'm sitting on my bed, by the way, and I'm trying to get comfy. Anyway, so let's go right back to when I started my career. I was a stay-at-home mom for 11 years. I have 3 kids. My eldest son is now 30, if you can believe that. I don't know how the frig that happened. His name is Braden, and he lives in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm not looking at the lens again, right? Sorry. My youngest son, Tyson, will be 27 in October, and my daughter, Brianna, who we call B, will just turn 24 in May. So this is going back a lot of years, 20 years at least. My kids were all in school, and I had been a stay-at-home mom for so long, and that was all I knew, really. My life was all about diapers and kids and happy life. So anyway, kids were going back to school. My first husband and I were getting sort of ready to separate, and we knew it was both coming. So, sorry, I'm trying to prop myself up here. So I had to do something, obviously, with my life. And I was working actually at my kid's school. And one of the guys that worked there was actually the vice principal, said to me, have you ever heard of this personal support worker PSW course? And I said, no, what is that? And he said, it's a level of nursing. And I thought, well, geez, I've always wanted to be a nurse. So he said, look into it. I think it's right up your alley. So I did. And gosh, I got to think back now, September of 97, I think. I went back to school for the first time since high school. I was absolutely petrified, shaken like a leaf the first day of school. And then after a few days, and you made some friends and got right into it. It was awesome. It was right up my alley. I was valedictorian of my class. I finished actually with the second highest. The girl that finished with the highest was like, I don't want to get up on the stage and speak. So I finished with a 98.6 average, which was really, really super cool. I was so proud of myself. So during that course, you do have to, as with any nursing course, sorry, my thumb's over the thing. You do have to do placements, and they're usually in, one is a community placement, which might be out in the community or, in like a retirement home, and the other one is more like a clinical placement where you're more likely to be in a nursing home, or if you're lucky, at the hospital. I've actually never worked in a hospital ever. So one of the places that I did do my placement was Extendicare in the city, and when I was done in school, they offered me a job, so it was great. And things just went on from there. So anyway, when you work in anything in the healthcare field, it's not just a job. It's more of a calling. It's a very large part of who you are and how you identify with yourself. And it takes a certain type of person, really. Like, I'm not trying to blow my own horn or anything, but it takes a certain type of person to help people die. And palliative care is my big thing. It takes a certain kind of person to look after palliative pediatric patients. It takes a certain type of person to take care of elderly people who have dementia, and you come home every day, covered in bruises and scratches, and You get called every name in the book and spit at, and, you're usually covered with, if I'm not elbow deep in, some sort of bodily fluid, I'm not happy. Sorry guys, I'm covering the camera. I loved my career. It was a very, very large part of who I was and how I identify with myself, as I said. And I mourn it every day. Every day I mourn the loss of that. I didn't just lose my job or lose my employment. I lost a very, very large part of myself. It always gave me such pride. I know a lot of people will say that a PSW is not a nurse. Yeah, we're not registered staff, but we do the grunt work. And any registered staff that that's worth their weight in, pig shit will tell you that the PSWs run the joint. They're the ones who keep the place together. You know what I mean? Without them, the wheels would fall off. And if your registered staff knows you well and trusts you, then you do a lot of delegated duties. So I've done a lot of wound care. I've done a lot of, I've done suture removal, staple removal, done enemas. I've done, let me think, geez. There's a lot of colostomy care or urostomy care involved. Geez, let me think. Duties that are kind of outside the scope of a PSW's regular duties. Yeah, but I mean, if your registered staff trusts you, then you do a lot of work. So I did take a lot of extra courses over the years. And as I say, palliative care is really where my heart lies. And again, it does take a special kind of person to help somebody die with dignity. And it's not just, the person that you're caring for, but it's also their family. And there's a lot of you kind of got a whole bunch of different hats you wear. So there's kind of a bit of psychologist in there too, because these people they have to stand there and watch their loved one die by inches sometimes. When someone is battling cancer or, sometimes it's just got to do with dementia, and people can have dementia for 20 years, 30 years. They can, and they, slowly go downhill to the point where they have absolutely no idea who their family members are. And it's heartbreaking. Patients with ALS, patients with Huntington's disease. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. So yeah, that's what I did for a living, and I miss it desperately. Again, the title of this blog being Our New Normal, and it took me a long time I still don't like it. And to be honest with you, I couldn't think of a better name for the blog, because that pisses me off. I don't want this new normal. I don't want this to be our new normal. I want my life back. I want my life back. So, sorry guys. Told you I was going to cry. There you go. Roll the toilet paper. We're good. It's been a lot of adjustment. It's been tough. So, the reason why I'm not working anymore, and I won't go into great detail about it right now because it's going to be another video, but the reason why I'm not working is I had just actually left the nursing home that I had been working at for almost 5 years, and went back to doing home care, simply because where I did work, I wasn't getting any benefits. So on paper, I was part-time, but I mean, honestly, you work 40 to 44 hours a week, and you run. By the Jesus, you run. If you ain't running, then you better be on break. If you're sitting still, you better. I keep looking. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so new at this. I keep looking. I got to look over here, right? Over here? Hello? Anyway, where was I going with this? See? Yeah, so I had just recently left this nursing home that I had been working at for, I was in my 5th year there, so, and I did love it there. The management, not so much, but the rest of the staff, rock stars, every one of them. And I'm still good friends with all of the girls that I worked with. But I had just left there to go back to home care, because you have to maintain, I think it's a minimum of 30 hours a week. And after your 3 month, what's that word? What is that word? Your trial period, your probationary, there we go. After your 3 month probationary period is over, then you start getting full benefits. So my husband was still well and working at the time. His work was doing some restructuring. And as far as he knew, in May of 2016, he was basically going to lose his benefits. So before any of this happened with us, I was never on any prescription medications. I never had anything wrong with me. I'm always healthy. But he has asthma. He has chronic asthma and COPD, even though he quit smoking 30 years ago. Yeah. So he was on, puffers for that. And I think I asked him at the pharmacy one time if we had to pay for this out of pocket. I can't remember. It's a couple $100s a month. But I mean, that's a couple $100s a month. So anyhow, the thought of him losing his benefits was like, gads. So I said, well, I'm going to have to change jobs. I'm going to have to go back to home care. So I went back. It was quite an adjustment. It's a much slower pace from you better be moving like a streak of lightning to you're sitting there going, so dear, was there anything else you needed me to do for you? It took a while to adjust to I had done home care previously at one point. Took a while to adjust to it. Once I got readjusted to it and got my regular clients, again, I'm looking over here and I should be looking over here. I was quite happy, quite happy. So then the car accident happened and that was it. That was all over. So we'll talk about the accident in another video. Leisure activities. This was another part of this video. So this is where the roll of toilet paper is going to come in. I'm sorry, we're going to have to pause a moment.